Our next guest is a large, non-venomous, heavy-bodied snake who lives at the Greenville Zoo. Maxine Van Dam is here from the Greenville Zoo to introduce us to Benny the boa. And Benny right now is just exploring his area, trying to make sure he's comfortable and he likes us okay.
Yeah, so right now he's doing some exploratory behavior. So he's got that nice tongue flicking action, and that's actually him smelling, taking in a lot of different senses, and that he feels pretty relaxed. So he's got his body kind of wrapped around my midwidth, but then he's stretching out and feeling comfortable in the studio and checking out the lights.
Well, I was seeing, I thought you had a really nice belt because I could see his tail wrapped around you, but you're his person. He wants to hang on to you.
Yes.
And he has been through something, but he's a cancer survivor.
He is a cancer survivor, and right now he's just holding on to me with his muscles as kind of like what he would with any object to feel secure and safe. But he does have a remarkable story. So he came to the zoo all the way back in 2003, and throughout the time of being with us, we did discover that he had cancer, and so he's been able to have it completely removed. We have an amazing team of veterinarians and a vet technician who have they care for our animals, big, from our giraffes, our lions, and to small. Even though Benny's quite a big snake, he's still on the smaller side compared to some of our other creatures. And it's kind of a testament to the way that we care for our animals at the Greenville Zoo.
And you, I mean, they're all special individuals to you. You know all their personalities. And you wrote to me that Benny is a shy carnivore who loves to hang out on his water dish. What makes him a shy carnivore?
So he's not one that usually is going to be out in the open, and that's pretty typical for his species. But he's just kind of a gentle soul in that way, where when he first comes out, he'll be in his hide. He has a particular space he loves in his enclosure, which is covered in lots of lush greenery, and he kind of peeks out when classes start. He's in a space where he can watch other kids, and you'll just kind of see him gazing and looking at that movement. And he's quite commonly found hanging out in his water dish, kind of at the hot tub, is what I like to say, which is pretty normal for him to be able to then absorb that more moisture. But otherwise, he's pretty arboreal. He'll be up in his trees in his special hide.
And as he basks here underneath all the bright lights, feeling like a star, he is an ambassador. And you talked about how kids can learn a lot from animals. And one thing is that you can't project human reactions or expressions onto animals because they're not going to be the same.
Yeah,
if they say, is he happy? Is he mean?
We don't want to anthropomorphize. So a lot of times when we go and visit animals in a setting, we're going to try to project human emotions on them. But, you know, Benny doesn't have the same muscles in his face to smile or to frown to tell us. So instead, we have to really look at his behavior. And his behavior right now is calm, it's relaxed, he's open. If he were feeling fearful, then he would be protecting his head, his most valuable part to protect, if he felt like we were predators or in an unsafe situation. And so a lot of times when I first bring them out to classrooms, I ask them to look at those behaviors and to think about them in the context of his species, more than putting what we feel would be the reactions when we're happy or if we're sad. And they're a great teaching tool because with their behaviors being able to tell us about kind of their mood that day, they're still remarkably similar to us.
And can I put my hands underneath
his
his
you can feel him.
body
So a lot of
here?
people
You said he was a
think
heavy-bodied.
he is slimy, and he's not slimy. Amphibians are usually slimy, but reptiles are cool to the touch unless they were basking. So with the spots where he was wrapped around me, it's mostly because I'm warm. But otherwise, then he's going to be just smooth to the touch and just a lot of muscle.
Yeah, his coloring is beautiful too. He's working his way through, still kind of exploring a little bit. Anything else that you think people gain from time with Benny? I bet you walk into a room of kids and you said they either go, ah, or they go, ah. I mean, they're all impressed. And there's some power when you walk into a room with a boa constrictor. That must feel something.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of oohs and sometimes some ahs, but that is that great time to really then use that opportunity of emotion to make an impact. To make those connections with animals is the most valuable thing that we do with our ambassador collection, because once we have a connection to those creatures, that's when we're going to make those changes to actually protect them and to walk towards conservation instead of just away from it.
And you have connections with all kinds of them. Sometimes they're furry and sweet. Sometimes they're just awesome, like Benny here. You've got a career day coming up too, because people don't realize how much goes on behind the scenes at the zoo. What will they learn at Career Day on Friday, March 17th?
So Career Day is an amazing opportunity for anyone who's interested in animal-related careers, but also if they care about animals and they want to work in a different capacity. The modern zoo has so many different opportunities, from people that are artists to do graphic design, to help with signage, from people who do events and media marketing, for conservation fundraising. That a modern zoo is so much more than just the animal care, but also, of course, for animal care, we have rock stars of our zoo. Our zookeepers are phenomenal. And our veterinarians that can then save animals and help them live a really long life. Benny's actually 20 years old. And that's usually the maximum lifespan for these creatures in the wild. But in captivity, they can live to be up to 40 years old. So we want to make sure our animals have that wellness, that are thriving for not just their basic needs, but have their complex needs met as well, like that healthcare aspect.
Well, we certainly are honored that you bring Benny here. We love to learn about Benny and all the animals you bring from the Greenville Zoo. So Maxine, Benny, thank you so much for being here. We'll do it again soon.
Yes, of course. We're
Thank you.
always so glad that we can be here with you.
And